All right, I'm Coach Wheeler, and I'm the men's basketball coach at Coastal Christian High School. I want to talk to you about Dylan Smith. He is a 6'4" point guard, 180 pounds. He will be a freshman in the year of 2014-2015. This upcoming year, 2013 and 14, he'll be a point guard at Moravian Prep, playing for Coach Ellis. He played at Coastal for 3 years, and if I think about Dylan as a player, there's really about 4 words that I would use to describe him. They would be, he's a leader on the floor and off the floor, extremely coachable, he's a great student, and finally I would say he is a great basketball player. So I want to take a couple minutes and talk about those 4, just to define who Dylan Smith is. You know, you got the physical stature of Dylan being 6'4" and everything, but I want to talk about Dylan the person. As I said, he's a leader. The biggest reason I'd say he's a leader is because he has a great work ethic. And it is contagious among his other players. So Dylan is in the gym 7 days a week outside of practice, getting up shots, working on ball handling. And the greatest thing that he brought to Coastal was all the other players were attracted to being in the gym when Dylan's here. So it had a great effect on the team. Obviously extremely committed as a leader. He's a leader by example. So he'll tell people what to do, but he also just does the work and expects them to do it. And so extremely focused individual, and finally he's just a really smart leader. Looks for ways to impact people. Along with being a great leader, though, I would tell you Dylan is really coachable. And one of the things that makes him extremely coachable is he always desires to know more. Always wants to figure out, how can he become a better player. And by desiring to know more, it makes it easier to coach him because you can explain what you want the team to do, and he figures out how to help others do that. He's a very smart kid, and therefore a very logical player. He thinks like a coach. That's the biggest thing I would say. He's a coach on the floor. He also makes great game adjustments because he reads situations and what's going on, and makes very good adjustments in the middle of the game. As I mentioned earlier, he's a great student. Probably one of the better students to come through Coastal. We are a very tough academic school. And as far as Dylan goes, his SAT scores, he scored a 1390 on the math and verbal section of the SAT. He actually missed 1 question on the math section. So he's a great student. He wants to be in the FBI. He understands academics are going to play a large role in that. Graduated with a 4.0 GPA. So that kind of gives you an idea of Dylan the student. The final thing I want to talk about is Dylan the basketball player. Dylan is a great decision maker. It's probably his greatest asset that he has on the floor is he makes great decisions, therefore he does not turn the ball over much. He's a very under control point guard, very intentional point guard, particularly intentional in setting up and creating whatever system the coach wants to see in play. He does a good job of creating scoring opportunities for others. He can score, but he also understands he's got to get others involved in scoring. He's a read and react basketball player. I think that goes back to him being a smart basketball player, but he reads a lot and then reacts to it. One of the other things I would say is very unique about Dylan is you look at him and you think, is this kid a point guard? He is extremely tough to stay in front of, but it's not because of his pure athleticism. Dylan is he uses the use of changing speeds and changing directions to make it extremely difficult for a defender to stay in front of him. So very, I would say, an elusive basketball player, but definitely helps him in creating offense. And the final thing, he's just a calming presence on the floor. So as a point guard, because he doesn't get panicked very much, he brings a calming presence to the floor. So great kid, going to be a great basketball player for somebody. I'll let you take a look at his